Welcome to Reno's World Podcast, where truth slips through the cracks and myth whispers in the dark. I'm Reno Rains. Tonight's topic, are angels really aliens? Buckle up, let's dive in. They carved it in stone before they even had a written language. Winged beings descending from the sky, shimmering in gold, eyes like burning wheels. Ezekiel saw them in 593 BC. Creatures of fire and metal, a wheel within a wheel, moving wherever the spirit would go. That's not poetry. That's precision. And here's the part nobody talks about. In 1968, NASA's technical translation team, digging through ancient Hebrew texts, flagged Ezekiel's description, not as mythology, but as a technical schematic. Joseph Blumrich, a NASA engineer who helped design the Saturn V rocket, published a full study in 1974. His conclusion? Ezekiel's vision was a close encounter with a spacecraft. Not metaphor, not divine mystery. Hardware. Wait, let's slam the brakes and yank this thing back to 3100 BC. Sumeria, the oldest civilization on record. Their gods, the Anunnaki, winged humanoids who came down from the stars to bestow knowledge. Every single depiction? Advanced tools, helmets, and wings. The exact same winged beings that show up thousands of years later in Christian and Islamic angelology. Coincidence? You wish. But let's jump fast forward to 1947. Roswell. You think the government was just chasing saucers? No. In the classified reports from Operation Blue Book, multiple witnesses describe beings, not gray-skinned, bug-eyed stereotypes, but tall, luminous figures in metallic suits. Look up Major Jesse Marcel's original handwritten notes. He described the material as otherworldly, and get this, marked with strange symbols resembling ancient scripts. Tell me that doesn't send a chill down your spine. And it gets weirder. In 1985, Father Corrado Balducci, a high-ranking Vatican theologian, stated publicly on Italian national TV that extraterrestrials exist and may very well be the beings we have historically called angels. This isn't some fringe preacher. This is a Vatican insider. His exact words, extraterrestrial encounters are not contrary to the faith. Why was Rome prepping us for something? Okay, stop. Before you think this is just cherry-picking ancient myths and sprinkling in UFO lore, let's get surgical. Let's talk mechanics. Every ancient angelic encounter, look closely, describes light so intense it blinds witnesses, thunderous noise and trembling ground, sudden ascension and descension defying gravity. Example, the ascension of Christ in Acts 1:9. He was taken up before their very eyes, and a cloud hid him from their sight. Cloud or craft? In 2013, Dr. Richard Stothers, NASA astrophysicist, analyzed ancient reports of unexplained aerial phenomena. His conclusion? Historical records of heavenly beings often match modern UFO sightings down to the last detail. You feel that itch in your brain yet? Hold tight, we're time hopping again. 2004, USS Nimitz encounter. Navy pilots tracked a tic-tac-shaped object that violated the laws of physics. Here's the kicker. Commander David Fravor, the lead pilot, later described the movement of that object as like it was guided by something beyond our understanding. Almost like watching a being with intent. Being. Not drone. Not debris. Being. And buried deep in the archives of CE4 Research Group, specialists in alien abduction cases, there's a chilling pattern. Abductees who invoke the name of Jesus Christ or angels report their experiences abruptly stopping. Investigator Joe Jordan published multiple verified cases where, in mid-abduction, the phenomenon ceased instantly upon the victim's prayer or demand. What does that mean? Either aliens respect human religion, or it's the same phenomenon wearing different masks. Look, even the Department of Defense is sniffing around this rabbit hole. The 2020 Pentagon UFO Task Force report included references to biological effects on witnesses, some describing encounters with humanoid forms surrounded by light. That's the language of angels, updated for a modern world. And this is the twist no one saw coming. In 2022, a declassified CIA document surfaced detailing psychic experiments under Project Stargate. Buried in the files, testimony that remote viewers consistently described non-human intelligences appearing as beings of light, matching historical angelic imagery. All of it points to one terrifyingly simple question. What if angels never left the heavens because they were never from there to begin with? And just when you think this is ancient history, let's rip into 2023, Peru. Locals in the Amazon reported nightly attacks by Los Pelacaras, glowing winged beings that hovered silently and snatched at villagers. Photos? Blurry but chilling. Descriptions? Luminous, armored figures, almost exactly like medieval depictions of archangels. The Peruvian government sent military investigators. Official response? Mining drones. But eyewitnesses, including local police, weren't buying it. Because here's the through line nobody can ignore. Whether it's Mesopotamia, Jerusalem, or Peru, the pattern never changes. The winged ones descend, they dazzle, they leave. And we're left trying to decode their footprints. So you tell me, are angels just celestial messengers, cloaked in divine mystery, or are they the oldest contact we've ever had with extraterrestrial intelligence, misinterpreted through the lens of ancient humanity's awe and fear? Because what happens next will break every rule of logic we thought we understood. In 1977, Dr. J. Allen Hynek, founder of CUFOS and former lead scientific advisor for Project Blue Book, quietly published a paper few people talk about today. His thesis, the phenomenon we label as extraterrestrial, might be interdimensional. His exact words, there appears to be a psychic component to UFO experiences that is completely congruent with historical accounts of angels and demons. Interdimensional. Angels, aliens, same data, different frame. But here's where the noose tightens. The Fatima apparitions of 1917. What the Catholic Church calls a miracle. 3 children in Portugal witnessed the Virgin Mary appearing in a glowing cloud, descending from the sky. But read closely. Their original testimonies described a silver disc that reflected sunlight and zigzagged in the sky. 70,000 witnesses reported seeing the sun dance and spin. Modern analysts, UFO researchers. Jacques Vallée, legend in the field, said it straight. Fatima is a classic close encounter case. And the Vatican, silent as a crypt. You want another slice of forbidden fruit? The Book of Enoch, tossed out of the Bible's canon, but crucial. Enoch describes the Watchers, a class of angels who descended to earth, taught humanity forbidden knowledge, and bred with us. Genesis 6:4 calls their offspring the Nephilim. Sounds outlandish, until you realize ancient astronaut theorists and theologians keep circling back to this text. Enoch writes, I saw a great light descending, and behold, I saw houses of crystal and wheels of fire. Sound familiar? Let's jag sideways to 1980. Rendlesham Forest incident, England. U.S. Air Force personnel encountered a craft emitting strange symbols. Sergeant Jim Peniston, this part kills me, claimed he touched the craft and received binary code downloads into his mind. Decades later, the decoded message coordinates to ancient sites and a reference to exploration of humanity, continuous for planetary advance. Now pause. Ancient contact, angelic, alien, both? Oh, you think it stops at dusty archives? Let's rip into Operation Paperclip. In the aftermath of World War II, the U.S. brought over Nazi scientists, many of whom were obsessed with occult knowledge and ancient texts, including, wait for it, angelic hierarchies. Werner von Braun, rocket genius and ex-Nazi, once cryptically told Dr. Carol Rosin that the alien threat would be the final card played by global powers. What did he mean? Were they prepping a staged event? Or did they know something buried deeper than any of us suspected? And while we're hyperventilating, let's talk Skinwalker Ranch. Every paranormal hotspot you can think of, UFOs, poltergeists, strange creatures, it all erupts there. But why? In 2016, Robert Bigelow, billionaire aerospace mogul, admitted on 60 Minutes that non-human entities are already here. His company, contracted by the Pentagon to study unexplained aerial phenomena. His words, they're right under people's noses. Even the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, run by Luis Elizondo, concluded these things aren't just craft. They display behaviors consistent with intelligence, sometimes interactive, sometimes evasive. Angelic, alien, again, blurred lines. And here's my last grenade. Declassified CIA Stargate documents show that remote viewers, psychics trained to spy through extrasensory perception, consistently encountered luminous beings when targeting deep space locations. The description? Radiant, humanoid, and overwhelmingly powerful. How many times do we have to see the same pattern before we admit this is one phenomenon wearing different masks across cultures and centuries? And don't even get me started on the cultural implants. Why do angels in medieval art suddenly sprout metallic armor and technological details after humanity discovers flight? Why do modern UFO reports so often mimic the exact feelings, awe, terror, submission, that ancient texts attribute to angelic visitations? Ask yourself, has humanity always been under observation? Have these beings shaped our religions, nudged our evolution, and manipulated our belief systems, all under the guise of divine messengers? We are standing on a razor's edge here. So what's confirmed? Historical texts from every corner of the globe describe radiant, winged beings descending from the sky. Modern UFO encounters echo the same physical and emotional details: light, noise, impossible maneuvers, and a sense of presence. Governments and militaries, from the Vatican to the Pentagon, have quietly studied these events under both spiritual and scientific lenses. What's speculation? That these beings are strictly extraterrestrial. Hynek and Vallée hint at something far stranger, maybe interdimensional. That angelic visitations were deliberate attempts by non-human intelligence to shape human culture for their own ends. What remains unresolved? The true origin and purpose of these entities, whether they are messengers of a higher cosmic order, invaders disguised as saviors, or something far beyond both categories. Whether it was misunderstanding, cover-up, or something far stranger, this case remains unresolved and very real.